When I woke up, it was still dark in front of me. It was deathly silent all around. I was lying in the gap between a car and a snow block, unable to move. I blinked my eyes, and a warm current flowed across the corners of my eyes. It was blood. I remembered that just now I was slapped against the car door by the snow like a huge wave and hit my head. An avalanche had just occurred here. Why was I here? I came here to look for Noah. I've been chasing after him physically during this period. No matter where he was, I would find a way to look for him. After being dodged by him many times, I finally got through to his phone. Hello, may I ask if you are Noah? The rock music on the other end of the phone was hysterical, but it couldn't compare to his irritable tone. Oliver, what on earth do you want? I tightened my grip on the phone with my right hand. I said seriously, I want to fall in love with you. He let out a cold snort. Are you crazy? I shook my head. Then I suddenly remembered that he couldn't see me, and said slowly, No. Where are you? I'll come to you. There was a few seconds silence on the other side, as if he was at the end of his patience. I'm at the ski resort in Jiangcheng. If you dare, come here. Just as I was about to say, okay, the other side hung up the phone. Recalling up to this point, I suddenly thought of an important thing. Noah, did he also fail to avoid the avalanche? Was he buried alive in the snow like me in the weather of -30 degrees? My whole body was frozen stiff. I was in the narrow space formed by the car body and the snow blocks. I took out my phone with difficulty. The battery was so frozen that there was only a very thin red line left. Noah's call suddenly came in. Really went there? Can't you tell I'm kidding you? I couldn't speak. My trembling and rapid breathing hit the phone. He paused for a moment and said very softly, Oliver, you're really stupid. I realized it, suppressing the piercing pain in my chest. I said with difficulty, So, you're not here. My breath turned into ice. I stiffly tugged at the corner of my mouth. Fortunately, you're safe. Fortunately, you haven't promised to be with me yet. What? My skeletal muscles were shivering. Every word I said was trembling. Noah couldn't hear clearly. Blood loss and the cold made my consciousness hazy. My eyelashes, sticky with ice crystals, fluttered. Then I closed my eyes. It's so cold, I said very softly. Noah was stunned for a moment and said coldly, Oliver, stop pretending to be pitiful. You deserve it. My head hurt badly, and some memory fragments suddenly appeared in my mind. In the snow-covered world, Noah wrote my name on the snow. He wrapped the other end of the scarf around me and held me tightly in his arms. In a gentle tone, different from now, he said, Oliver, never leave me. I slowly blinked my eyes and said to the person on the phone, Noah, we were together, right? There was no response from the other side. I turned my head stiffly and found that the phone had gone black. I don't know if Noah heard the last sentence. We were together, I think. Otherwise, when he said those deceitful words, why would my heart ache so much? I wish I could ask him face to face. If I can survive. Vaguely, I gradually felt less cold. I even felt very warm. Was I rescued so soon? With my eyes closed, I thought, after being rescued, I'll go back to find Noah immediately, to confirm with him whether we once loved each other, and why we separated. I thought like this for a long time. Suddenly, my body became very light. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself standing right in front of Noah. This perspective is very familiar. So is the person in my field of vision. He was looking down at his phone, with his handsome eyebrows knitted together. Noah. I called him softly. He locked his phone screen and looked up. Noah has half foreign blood. He has very short hair and his pupils are a very special dark gray color. Now, there is no sign of me in these gray eyes. He can neither hear me nor see me. I reached out to touch him and saw my fingers pass through his sturdy black leather jacket and chest. Is this my dream? Or Am I already dead? On second thought, it doesn't really matter. I looked at Noah's handsome face for a while and asked, "Why did we break up?" Noah didn't answer. He lowered his eyes and blocked my phone number. "Oliver, don't let me see you again. It's really annoying." I lowered my eyes and thought silently, "We won't see each other again. It seems that I'm already dead." Would Noah be happy if he knew? I think I must have done something really excessive to make him hate me so much. What exactly did I do? My memory is like a series of blurred images. I can't get an answer. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door of the room. Noah's assistant, Lucas, pushed the door open and said, "Brother, change your clothes. The car is ready." Noah nodded and walked towards the cloakroom. He lifted his hand at his waist and took off his black hoodie in one go. A corner of his same colored vest was pulled up, revealing his firm but not overly prominent abs. He looked back with a cold look in his eyes and said, "Go out and wait." Lucas's ears turned a little red and he smiled awkwardly. "Brother, I heard you're still wearing the safety jade pendant given by your ex-boyfriend. Is this it?" According to the cold personality and bad temper that have always been criticized by the media, I thought Noah would scold him fiercely. Things like, "It's none of your business," or "Get out." But he didn't. He just lowered his eyes, followed Lucas's line of sight, grabbed the safety buckle and pulled it off. His eyes were indifferent. "Like it? I'll give it to you." The white and moist jade with a red string was gently swaying in Noah's hand. As I watched, a vague memory in my mind became clear. This safety buckle was what I gave to Noah. Before a tournament, I put the red string around his neck. "This is a safety buckle. It can bless you with safety." Noah looked down and said, "Superstition," but he didn't take it off. Then he hugged me tightly. The jade was very cold. Sandwiched between two burning chests, it gradually warmed up. I told Noah at that time that the red string was woven by myself. But I didn't say that the jade was the only thing left by my parents when I was abandoned at the door of the orphanage with it. "Can you not give it to others?" It seemed that my heart was also hanging in Noah's hand and would be broken the next second. I stood in front of him and pleaded, "If you don't like it anymore, you can give it back to me." Lucas stepped closer. "Is it okay, brother? I heard that you two were deeply in love before. It can't be called love. He was just a tag-along when we were kids." Noah's lips parted slightly, but it was as if he had crushed me. Lucas laughed loudly. "Then thank you, brother." Noah let go. The safety buckle passed through my outstretched palm and fell into Lucas' hand. Noah walked away without looking back. I stood there stupidly, watching as Lucas threw the safety buckle out of the window into the pool in the yard. "No." I rushed out and jumped into the water, but it didn't even stir up a single ripple. The cold pool water penetrated me, forever separating me from the safety buckle that had sunk to the bottom of the pool, like a reflection in a mirror and a moon on the water. At this moment, I was the one who was illusory. Now I have nothing. My whole body felt like it was being pricked by thousands of needles. So it turns out that even a soul can feel cold and pain. "Noah, I regret giving you the safety buckle." Noah walked out of the changing room in a sleek and form-fitting racing suit. With a helmet under one arm, his unhidden eyebrows and eyes looked unruly and sharp. The TV in the living room was on. The ongoing racing event forecast was interrupted by a breaking news bulletin. An earthquake struck Jiangxing an hour ago. The epicenter was close to a well-known local ski resort, triggering an avalanche. Noah suddenly stopped in his tracks and turned to look at the screen. "The rescue team has entered the disaster area, and the casualty figures." With a snap, Lucas turned off the TV. He gave an apologetic smile and said, "Brother, if we don't leave now, it'll be too late." Noah glanced down at his phone and strode out of the room. "I wonder if my buried body has been found. I want to go back, but I'm bound by a force to stay by Noah's side." I watched as he put on his helmet and got into the racing car amidst the cheers and screams of the crowd. The engines roared to life. One after another, the racing cars charged onto the track like enraged beasts. Noah didn't take the lead as he usually did. I stood in the grandstand. I heard someone beside me say, "Noah isn't in the right state today." Hardly had the words left their mouth. Noah's car accidentally scraped against the barrier net and spun out of control, flying off the track. After flipping twice, he came to a halt on the turf in the middle of the racetrack, smoking forlornly. Amid the uproar, Noah kicked open the car door and climbed out of the racing car. He lost the race and, for the first time, came in last. Noah was indeed acting out of character today, not because of his performance during the race, but because he wasn't extremely angry after losing the race. He returned to his room. The team doctor bandaged the wound on his arm. Noah held the phone in his left hand and awkwardly tapped it a few times. Suddenly, he smashed the phone against the opposite wall. I floated over and saw that the cracked screen showed the search page of today's news. The several hot searches displayed were all about his crash today. He still cared. After all, racing was what he cared about the most and the only thing he cared about. In the fuzzy memory fragments, Noah was also so furious before. It's just that at that time, I seemed to be closely beside him. Not like those who talked about him and avoided him. I looked brave and open-minded, like a white cloud hugging a scorching volcano regardless of everything, trying to calm the impending erupting magma. When we were teenagers in the orphanage, I sat beside him and said, "I believe in you," and said, "It doesn't matter." Later, when we became adults and the scene changed, I buried my head in his neck, saying, "Don't worry," saying, "I'll help you," saying, "We'll be together forever." Now, he can never hear me again. No one dares to approach him when he's angry. Idiot. I looked at the lonely Noah and blamed him for the first time. It's all your fault for losing the peace jade pendant. There's no one to comfort him. Noah was breathing heavily in silence. Lucas answered a call and said very quietly, "Brother Yi, there's someone outside who wants to see you." He said get him out of here. Noah's voice was loud, but his frown was less severe. He came back quite quickly. Who came back? Lucas didn't understand and explained. He said he's a doctor from the municipal hospital and wants to talk to you about Oliver. I searched my mind for memory fragments about the doctor. I got some vague images. The male doctor looked at the brain CT scan and asked me, "Can you remember something now?" I shook my head. He said gently, "Don't worry too much. There's hope for recovery if you keep taking the medicine." I was a bit depressed, but I always can't remember if I've taken the medicine. The male doctor, "It doesn't matter. I can send you messages every day to remind you." I was already floating towards the door, thinking that if I saw the doctor's face, maybe I can remember what kind of illness I have. But Noah didn't move for a long time. Then he gave a cold snort and said, "Oh, so you've hooked up with a doctor." I stood still on the spot. It was as if I had been shot in the heart by a gun from behind. When the pain exploded, I looked at Noah in disbelief. "So, I'm actually so despicable in your heart. Those memories that I thought were precious. They are stains to him. Get him out of here." Noah clenched his fists, and blood seeped through the gauze. He squeezed out each word through his teeth. I have nothing to say to him. When going out, Noah was surrounded by a large number of reporters. Before getting in the car, a man rushed over and blocked the car door. "Mr. Noah, I have something very important to tell you." Noah was wearing sunglasses, and his jaw was tightly clenched. "Who are you?" "I'm a doctor from the municipal hospital and also a friend of Oliver's." "Get out of the way," Noah said aggressively. "I don't want to hear his name again." "Then please tell me where he is." Noah stopped the action of closing the door and said expressionlessly, "I don't know." I don't understand why Noah lied. He stopped the only person who was looking for me. Dr. James was very anxious. He needs someone to take care of him and can't be alone for too long. Noah seemed to have heard a joke and provocatively said, "Whether you want to treat him like a mentally challenged child or an old man is up to you. Don't get in my way." Dr. James wasn't angry, but just frowned deeply. He is such a nice person. How could he fall in love with someone like you? Yes. I used to wonder why I separated from Noah. Now, I wonder why I fell in love with him. Noah's breathing became heavy. He jumped down and slammed Dr. James against the car body, gritting his teeth and saying, "I'm a jerk, but I've never let Oliver down." Yes. Lucas stood in front of Noah and loudly echoed. It was Oliver who kept pestering. He broke up and then came back again and again pretending to be innocent. Brother Noah is the victim. The murmur mixed with the flashlights rushed into my ears like waves. Noah did admit that he had a same-sex partner who grew up with him since childhood. Yes, but they haven't been seen together since the end of the championship a year ago. I heard that that person hooked up with a rich man. He thought racing was dangerous and was afraid that Noah would die on the track. The championship, the breakup, these two words pierced my brain like needles. It stirred up a string of memories. I was in great pain. I hugged my head and knelt on the ground,
uselessly defending. No.
I didn't pretend to be innocent, and I didn't betray Noah. It's because...
À car accident.
Dr. James' roar interrupted me. He stared fixedly at Noah. He said word by word, "A year ago, he was in a car accident on his way to the racetrack to find you." The noise in my head subsided. The world was so quiet that I could hear Noah's deep and rapid breathing. The background blurred. The only thing clear was the blood draining from his face in an instant. Tears welled up. I smiled silently. "Noah, now, I remember everything." When the taxi was overturned, I was sitting in the back seat, holding the ring box and repeatedly rehearsing the scene of putting the ring on Noah's finger. After a loud noise, the ring and the ring box were thrown out and never found again. For a long time after I woke up, my memory was intermittent and confused. Dr. James is my attending doctor. He told me that there was a blood clot in my brain, which was pressing on an important memory center and had a very high fatality rate. Conservative treatment is safer, but it will cause brain degeneration symptoms similar to Alzheimer's disease. Based on the fragmented memories I pieced together, I came to the conclusion that I love Noah very much. Then I broke up with him. I once promised that I would never lie to him, but that day, I told a lot of lies. I said I didn't want to grow old with him anymore. I said I didn't love him. Noah was silent on the other end of the phone. Then he asked in a hoarse voice, "What did you say?" Just like at this moment. He asked in a daze and confirmed with Dr. James. "Oliver had a car accident on the day you won the championship. He has very serious sequelae from the car accident. He broke up with you because he didn't want to drag you down." Dr. James looked at Noah and said softly, "Noah, you don't know anything at all." Noah frowned again. His pale lips moved before he said, "It's impossible. He doesn't look like a sick person at all. Don't come up with such a vulgar excuse. I don't believe it." Dr. James shook off his hand and said, "Noah, I hope you won't regret it later." I watched Dr. James walk away. I thought silently, Noah won't regret it. He is too proud. So proud that he thought of a counter-attack to my words within seconds back then. After I struggled to repeat the words, "break up," my heart suddenly started beating very fast, and I began to regret saying these words to him. But he quickly said, "It's good that you brought it up first." Likewise, my heartbeat slowed down and became heavier along with the busy tone on the phone. Noah likes to win, and he always does. It was the same when we broke up back then, and it's the same today. But at this moment, Noah's face was cold, pale, and defeated. There was not a trace of his usual pride. The driver drove the car to Noah's house. Lucas opened the door for Noah and said, "Brother, we're here." He handed Noah a new phone and said, "The SIM card is already installed." Noah pulled the hood of his black hoodie over his head. He leaned back on the back seat and didn't move. "Brother." Noah came back to his senses, took the phone, and said, "Thank you." After entering the house, Noah put the new phone on the table. I stood opposite him and heard him call my name, Oliver. My heart skipped a beat. I stared at him with wide open eyes, thinking he could see me, but he just lowered his eyes and looked at the phone, then continued, "If you call now, I'll give you another chance to explain." Noah didn't completely disbelieve what Dr. James said. He is always like this. He is so cold and tough that it seems his invulnerability is just a shell. If I didn't know this since childhood, maybe I wouldn't have fallen in love with him. I leaned in and tilted my head to look at his face, and asked, "Are you waiting for my call?" After getting a new phone, the number that was previously blocked was unblocked. But I probably won't call again. Unless... Suddenly, the phone on the table rang. It startled both of us. "Is it my body? Has it been found?" The phone number was very familiar, but it wasn't mine. Noah saw it. He slowly picked up the phone. On the other end of the phone came the voice of the old dean of the orphanage. "Noah, are you with Oliver?" "No," Noah said. "Dean, what's the matter?" "Oh, he came here 2 days ago and asked me to find some old things for him. He also said he was going to a very cold place. That boy Oliver has been afraid of the cold since childhood. He would get sick as soon as the temperature dropped. I don't know what he's going to do in such a cold place." Noah listened quietly and patiently. As the sky clouded over, his face also turned very pale. "I found all the things Oliver asked me to look for, but I can't get through to him on the phone. Can you come and pick them up for him?" Noah finally spoke, his voice very low and hoarse. "Okay, I'll go right now." A few minutes later, the matte, black Porsche 911 sped onto the main road. In my memory, I had sat in Noah's passenger seat countless times. He was good at accelerating, but when carrying me, he always drove very slowly and steadily. I would grab his right hand during a red light. With a crooked smile, I would shamelessly say to him, "Noah is cool in everything he does. He's cool when racing at full speed on the track. And he's also cool when driving the car steadily." He would turn his head to look out of the window, pretending not to be moved. The red light was counting down. At the last second, Noah tightly squeezed my hand back. My heart suddenly started beating very fast. I didn't know if I blushed. I only remembered that the evening glow that day was very warm. It shone through the car window, casting a rosy glow on our two faces. It was like a limited edition skin that was never sold in the game. Precious and hard to come by. At that time, I thought, how wonderful it would be if I could always sit in Noah's passenger seat. It was also evening, but there was no beautiful afterglow today. The sky was heavily pressed down by dark clouds. It seemed as if it was going to snow, the same snow as 2,000 kilometers away. Noah drove the car very fast today. After arriving at the orphanage, the dean took him into the office and said, "Oliver asked me that day to find all the photos of the two of you together." There was a small box on the desk. The dean walked over and took out an old yellowed photo from it. "Look, in this group photo, you and Oliver were still standing next to each other." 12-year-old Noah had a striking appearance and stood coldly in the back row. The boy beside him had curved eyebrows and a small dimple on one side of his lips. It was me. Noah held the photo and looked at it. The dean said, "During the years you were here, you could only get along well with Oliver. If it weren't for your parents taking you away later." The dean seemed to suddenly remember something and took out a black cloth bag from the box. "Do you still remember? This was what Oliver stuffed into your car before you left the orphanage. And then your mother threw it out of the car window. I was afraid that Oliver would be sad, so I've been keeping it myself and didn't tell him." Noah took it and opened it slowly. Inside was a notebook the size of a palm. Opening it, Noah saw the words inside. Because I was too thin, I was blocked by those guys again. But today a new big brother helped me teach them a lesson. He's so cool. The big brother's name is Noah. They all say that Noah is a monster and has a bad temper. But I don't think so. He is obviously the most good-looking and nicest person. They always make jokes about me and Noah. Noah told me not to always follow him in the future. I said, note, the diary is frivolous and intermittent. Time crosses Noah in the welfare home for the whole 2 years. Last page. I wrote, can find your mom and dad. Good. But Noah, if you can, no. From now on, it's not possible to see him again, is it? If you grow up and then meet again, I must. Half of a sentence that stopped at the end of the paper. Not finished. Noah shakes the fingertips flipping the page. Found the back one to be ripped off. Oliver. Noah lightly calls my name. The sound contains a strong incoherence and regret. He took out his phone and dialed half of the number. Suddenly, the incoming call tone rang. He pressed the answer button. Oliver. You. A strange voice interrupted him. Sorry, sir. May I ask if you are Mr. Oliver's friend? Noah asked. What happened to him? He died in an avalanche. I have no relatives. The last call on the phone was to Noah, so he was notified immediately. The rescue workers on the other end of the phone expressed their regret. Then they asked if Noah could arrive in Jiangxing within 3 days to claim the body. Noah seemed to be instantly frozen. Then he hung up the phone without warning. The old dean saw his terrible face. He quickly asked, Noah, what's going on? It's fake. Noah said. The phone rang again. Noah hung up quickly and then rushed out. He went to the airport first and was told that there was a blizzard in Jiangxing and all the routes passing by were delayed. The phone kept ringing, so he simply turned it off. He directly drove the car onto the highway. He exited the ramp. He set the destination of the car navigation to Jiangxing. It was more than 2,000 kilometers away, and he was going there by car. I think Noah is not quite normal. But actually, Noah has always been impulsive. He ran away from home when he was a teenager and found a welfare home to live in by himself. Later, he fought against more than a dozen boys who were a head taller than him alone. He saved me, who was thin and small. Noah fought desperately, with a kind of ruthless determination to fight to the bitter end. Those people were afraid of him but also unwilling to accept it. They secretly said that Noah was a monster, and his gray eyes were the proof. Slowly, everyone in the welfare home avoided him. Except me. I think Noah is not a monster, but a God-sent hero. I stuck to him every day. I secretly put the chocolate that I was reluctant to eat into his trouser pocket. It was the dog days. Noah quickly noticed something was wrong and put his hand into his pocket. He spread out his palm with some unknown sticky stuff on it in full view of everyone. There was a sudden burst of laughter all around. My face flushed with embarrassment. Sweating profusely, I roared, "It's chocolate! I didn't know it would melt." Noah gave them a glare. He curled his index finger and tapped the tip of my nose, saying, "Silly." I squatted beside the sink to wash Noah's pants. A group of people gathered around and jeered. Oliver, little daughter-in-law, washing clothes for the monster every day. Oliver, little daughter-in-law. Noah rushed over and splashed the water in the basin onto them. The leader shouted, "The monster is angry. You two are together every day. You must be in love." Immediately, someone joined in the jeering. "Two boys in love. Two boys in love." Fearing that Noah would fight again, pulled him away and ran. In a remote corner of the orphanage, Noah said in a fit of anger, "Oliver, don't stay with me from now on." "I won't." "Didn't you hear what they said? They're making fun of you." I looked up and saw his face and ears reddened with anger. Suddenly, I felt strangely happy. Smiling carelessly with my head tilted up, I said, "Let them laugh. Isn't it just being in love? We can't do it now. When we grow up and I really fall in love with you, let's see if they still laugh." Noah was taken aback and his face turned even redder. The car stopped at the service area, interrupting my recollection. Noah got out of the car to refuel. When he got back in the car, his face was wet. Probably he had washed his face with cold water, and his eye sockets were irritated and very red. He continued to start the car and hit the road, without rest. Actually, there's no need to be in such a hurry. I wanted to tell him. After all, it's extremely cold in Jiangqing. Even if the body is left there for a few more days, it won't be unrecognizable. Then I saw the diary he had placed on the center console. I thought, maybe he just wants to know what was written on the last torn-out page. That's all. Under good road conditions, a journey of 2,000 kilometers takes about 26 hours. But Noah only took 20 hours to enter the Jiangqing area. The heavy snow had stopped, and the sky was a washed-out blue. The rescue team had already cleared the road leading to the ski resort. From afar, the suspended cable cars could be seen. Noah stopped the car far from the entrance. "Get out of the car." He reeked of cigarettes. His face was a pale, ashen color from extreme exhaustion. Noah leaned against the car and murmured softly, "It's really cold." He took out his phone and called me back. No one answered, but he seemed to let out a sigh of relief. "Oliver, this must be another one of your pranks." The phone was busy. Noah muttered to himself in a soft voice, "You just want me to remember the things from our childhood and then agree to get back together with you, right? Okay, you win. When I see you later, let's get back together." He hung up the phone. He drove into the ski resort. The scene was deathly white. After the staff understood his purpose, they said to him, "The people injured in the avalanche have been sent to the hospital, but unfortunately, a young man died. The boy had a head injury and bled a lot. When he was found, he was frozen stiff, with his hands clutching his phone, as if waiting for someone's call. It's such a pity. I heard he came to find someone, so he didn't even wear warm ski clothes." Noah staggered. It seemed because he was wearing too little. He began to tremble violently. He hadn't walked back to the car yet. Suddenly, he fainted to the ground. The staff sent him to the hospital and speculated that he was a relative of the deceased. He fainted because he was too sad. I looked at Noah in the ambulance. I thought to myself, no, he should just feel guilty. When Noah woke up, the nurse called a young female volunteer. She said tactfully, "We're really sorry. We looked through your phone while you were unconscious. You're here to claim Mr. Oliver's body, right?" Noah said hoarsely, "Yes." Then he pulled out the infusion needle regardless of the obstruction. He asked the volunteer to take him to identify the body. He was taken to a very cold room. There was a narrow bed in the middle of the room. The white cloth on it hung down to the edge of the bed. The outline inside was faint. Noah's fingertips trembled. He still lifted the white cloth. My pale face slowly emerged, but the expression was not unpleasant. My eyelashes were obedient. My lips were slightly upturned. There was a faint dimple on my face. Noah curled his fingers and gently scraped the tip of my nose. "Fool, you're such a bad actor. You can't even hold back your smile." The volunteer beside me said with reluctance, "Actually, the smile is a brain hallucination caused by extremely low temperature. Maybe he remembered something happy before he died." "Really, Oliver?" Noah looked down at my face and asked. There was no answer, so Noah said, "He probably remembered the past. Otherwise, how could he still smile after remembering what I said on the phone at that time?" "What did he say at that time?" "He said he was just kidding me and that I was stupid, probably due to the change of the blood clot in my brain caused by the head impact." I gradually remembered some past events. I remembered my reunion with Noah, just as I had hoped in my diary. I I really met him again when I grew up. Noah has become taller and more imposing. He walked down from the interview site in a racing suit. He is like an idol star. I stood there, realizing that even if it was the first time I saw him, I would still be attracted to him. This thought was confirmed every time we met afterwards. I was still an intern journalist at that time. I chased after him, shouting his name. He turned around impatiently and saw my smiling face. We hadn't seen each other for 10 years. I thought it was normal for Noah to forget me at that time, but he really didn't remember much. I still couldn't help feeling a little sad. Later, I excitedly told him about the orphanage and invited him to many subsequent meetings under the pretext of work. I pursued him passionately, just as clingy as when I was a child. On the day we confirmed our relationship, I gave him a jade safety buckle. He gave me the championship trophy and engraved our two names on it. I was very happy that day. I rummaged through my bag and took out a piece of paper with rough edges. Mysteriously, I said to him, "Guess what this is?" Noah looked at me, his gray eyes reflecting my bright ones. "This is my..." I didn't finish my words, because Noah suddenly kissed my lips. Both of us beginners didn't know the rules, but it still made my heart beat in a mess. Thinking of this, the corners of my lips couldn't help but lift up a little. Suddenly, I felt a bit of coolness on my face. I looked over and found that Noah had wet my face. He kept looking at my closed eyes. He didn't even blink as big teardrops fell. The volunteer was a bit flustered. On one hand, he advised him to mourn moderately. On the other hand, he rummaged in his pocket. He didn't find any tissues, but he found a small sealed bag. I almost forgot. These are Mr. Oliver's phone, keys and personal belongings. Please keep them well. Noah took them slowly. He saw a very wrinkled piece of paper inside. He took it out and unfolded it. The handwriting was blurred on the yellowed old paper after being moistened and then dried, but it could still be barely recognized. I want to fall in love with Noah. In his teenage years, he was too shy to let Noah know. On the last page of the diary that was torn off before they parted ways, this sentence was written: "If I meet him again when I grow up, I definitely want to fall in love with Noah. Being with you is my wish, and it has come true now. The day when I got together with Noah, and every day after that when I was with him, I want to say this to him." Noah stood in the cold room for a long time. Then he carefully put my things on him. He arranged the return matters expressionlessly and expressed his gratitude to the staff. Several young people recognized him. They secretly said that Noah was not as arrogant and rude as the media described. I followed my body onto the hearse, silently looking at Noah. Actually, he wasn't like this yesterday. All the changes seemed to happen in an instant. The edge on Noah disappeared. He seemed dull and listless. The back compartment was very cold. The driver advised Noah to sit in the front passenger seat. It was rejected. The car started to move. Noah said in a low voice, "You were colder than now that day, weren't you? And you were cold for so long." His tone was flat, and there was little expression on his face. "Oliver, are you a fool?" Noah's face was wet again, and tears slid across his dry and cracked lips. "Why did you break up when you finally achieved your wish? If you're sick, I can take you to get treated. I don't mind if you become a real fool. I won't abandon you, Oliver." He got up during the slight bumping. He knelt down beside my narrow coffin, as if trying to hug me, but he couldn't. He must be sick. His voice was hoarse. "But you're not wrong. It's my fault. Did you break up with me, pretend not to know me, and then repeatedly ask me to get back together because you regretted it? I shouldn't have been so angry. I should have known about your illness earlier and then tried to keep you. I should have always agreed to your requests to get back together. I shouldn't have been impatient with you. I shouldn't have tricked you here. It's all my fault. All my fault. It's all my fault." These were words Noah had never said before. He has always been proud, and everything he has is blessed with unique advantages. So he doesn't care about the right and wrong that the world places on him. He is not afraid of losing. When he was a teenager, because his mother interfered with his hobbies, he abandoned the family that I envied and couldn't have. When he grew up, he would risk his life to win the racing championship. So I can't believe that Noah actually admitted his mistake. He is very tall. He curled up into a dark shadow on the ground. But I can't say any words of comfort now, nor can I hug him like I used to, gently stroke his back with my hand. Forever, I'll never be able to do that again. As soon as the car drove to the entrance of the city, it was stopped by a black business car. Lucas got out of the car with Noah's mother and asked the driver to open the trunk. Noah was lying on the coffin, and there was hardly any sign of life left in him. He was like a walking corpse. The woman's scolding and the slaps on his face all left him unmoved. Noah, how long are you going to be harmed by Oliver? Back then, you didn't want to go home because of him and even threatened to live in the welfare home. Noah's mother's fingertips almost poked into his face. Now you've given up the race because of him again. Do you know that you've been warned by the racing committee? If it happens one more time, you'll never be able to get on the track again in your life. I won't be on the track anymore, Noah said. Both the woman and Lucas had expressions of disbelief. What? Back then, it was because you promised to let me learn racing and become a professional driver that I left the orphanage. Noah continued in a low voice. I regret it. I shouldn't have left him at that time. Are you crazy? Noah. Noah's mother stared at him with a look of complete unfamiliarity in her eyes. Noah seemed to be talking to himself. If only I had always been by his side. Ignoring his mother's tears, he turned to Lucas and said, Please return the jade amulet to me. Lucas's expression froze, and he stammered, I accidentally lost it. Where did you lose it? Noah's tone was quite calm, but his eyes were fixed directly on Lucas's face. His eyes were light-colored, and he looked very fierce when he stared coldly at someone, probably sensing Noah's abnormal mental state. Lucas timidly said, In the swimming pool at the team headquarters. Noah's gaze didn't shift. Instead, it became even colder. You can get out. After saying that, he got back into the car on his own and sat back beside me. It was very dark outside. The light from the street lamps flickered on Noah's face, but it couldn't light up his eyes. I looked at him and said, You don't have to give up racing. It's what you like the most. A racing driver needs to be completely focused. A heavy and unhappy life background will make it difficult for him to focus on speed. That's why I wanted to break up with him cleanly. But the result was far from clean. I behaved willfully and extremely. I kept going back and forth capriciously. After arriving at the destination, Noah first took good care of my body and then started to handle my post-mortem affairs. The staff asked Noah if there were any personal belongings that needed to be buried with me. Noah thought silently for a while and took out the sealed bag given to him by the volunteer. There was the key to my rented room inside. I originally didn't want him to enter my room, but when I thought that I was already dead, I didn't care anymore. Noah drove there. He found my home in an old residential area. Turning the key, he pushed open the door. What came into view were sticky notes almost covering the whole room. Noah was stunned and slowly walked in to take a look. The room was small and the furniture was simple. He tore off the one by the door. It was carefully written on it. I want to fall in love with Noah. He saw what was stuck on the switch of the entrance hall light. It still read, I want to fall in love with Noah. As he passed by the dining table, every single sentence pasted on it was, I want to fall in love with Noah. On the refrigerator, on the wall beside the bed, there was only one sentence written on the messy sticky notes of different colors. I want to fall in love with Noah. Noah was standing in the room surrounded by this sentence. A short and muffled breathy sound came from his throat. I think he has seen the symptoms bring in the visual effects. The slightly ajar door was opened. Dr. James appeared at the doorway. Not long after breaking up with you, he suddenly forgot everything one day. He was wandering around on the street alone and almost got hit by a car. He was sent to the hospital, took out a very old piece of paper and asked me who Noah was. Dr. James gave a very light laugh, but the expression on his face was very bitter. He said the words on the paper were written by himself, so this matter must be extremely important. What was it? He looked at Noah's pale face and asked and answered himself. It was to fall in love with Noah. Noah understood everything in an instant and took a step back as if he couldn't stand still. He said to himself as if, so he came to look for me again and again because Dr. James saw that he seemed unable to speak and said on his behalf, it's because he was ill and thought that being in love with you was the most important thing in his life. My memories from that period were chaotic. Sometimes I would remember Noah and that I had to break up with him. Then I would pretend not to know him when I met him. Sometimes I would suddenly forget everything, forget that I had already broken up with him, and then persistently call him, find him, and tell him that I had to be in a relationship with him. First, Noah was still willing to answer my calls and find time to see me. I would look at him with a strange look in my eyes. Then I would sigh that I had been completely smitten with him at first sight. As the number of times increased later, Noah gradually became extremely annoyed. Even everyone around him thought I was being too excessive. I was either mentally deranged or extremely ill-behaved. At that time, perhaps Noah also thought so. My condition was sometimes good and sometimes bad. When I suddenly regained my senses and realized I had done something stupid, I would also regret it. But I never threw away or destroyed that old piece of paper. Because if I did, it would mean that when I forgot everything again, I would completely forget Noah. I dare not imagine what kind of empty feeling that would be. So I listened very carefully to the doctor and tried to control myself from doing stupid things through medication. If it works, I can die quietly. Noah will forget me and pursue his dreams and live a satisfying and happy life. And I will remember him, the only one who has ever given me happiness in my lonely and boring life after my parents passed away early. It's a win-win situation. But I still messed it up. I looked at Noah's painful face. I thought silently. In the end, Noah didn't take anything from my room. He just wrote something on that old piece of paper and put it with him. Before the burial, Noah stayed beside my body for a long time. He said in the dark, Oliver, I won't go anywhere from now on. I'll accompany you every day. But I'm already dead and will soon leave here. As I said this, I didn't feel any reluctance in my heart. Leaving means forgetting everything I've always remembered. I'm going to forget you, Noah. Only in this way is it fair. In this way, I'll never look back for you again. But he said, Oliver, I won't forget anything about you again. Noah built a very large tomb for me. On the day of the burial, I felt that I was finally about to leave. Noah somehow found that safety buckle. He put it back on his neck. He leaned against my tombstone. He took out the old paper that had been carefully kept. My soul was about to dissipate. I saw the words on it. I want to fall in love with Noah. Okay, Oliver.